Hi everyone. I'm Belinda, 28F, and I need some advice about a situation with my husband Thomas, 30M. We've been married for 5 years and together for 8. I always thought we had a great relationship, but now I'm not so sure. Thomas and I met during our sophomore year of college. We were both studying business at State University. I remember the first time I saw him, it was in our Marketing 101 class. He sat a few rows in front of me and I thought he was cute right away. We didn't actually talk until a few weeks later when we were paired up for a group project. We hit it off immediately. Thomas was funny, smart, and easy to talk to. We started hanging out outside of class, first as friends and then romantically. By junior year, we were officially a couple. We had so much in common, similar career goals, the same sense of humor, and a shared love of traveling. After graduation, we both got entry-level jobs in the city. Thomas went into finance and I started at a marketing agency. We moved in together and started building our life. Those first couple years were tough financially, we were both working long hours trying to establish our careers. But we supported each other through it all. Thomas proposed on our 3-year anniversary. It wasn't anything fancy, just a picnic in the park where we had our first date. But it was perfect for us. We got married a year later in a small ceremony with close family and friends. The first few years of marriage were great. We both advanced in our careers. Thomas got promoted to junior executive and I started my own small marketing agency. We bought our first house and started talking about having kids someday. Everything seemed perfect on the surface. But looking back, there were some red flags I ignored. Thomas started working later and later hours. He was always on his phone, even when we were supposed to be spending time together. When I brought it up, he'd say work was just busy and he needed to stay connected. I also noticed Thomas seemed less interested in intimacy. We went from being intimate several times a week to maybe once a month, if that. When I tried to initiate, he'd say he was too tired or stressed from work. I felt rejected but didn't want to pressure him. About a year ago, things really started to change. Thomas was barely home anymore. He'd leave for work before I woke up and come home after I was asleep. On weekends, he always had some work event or guys' night out. I felt like I was living with a stranger. I tried talking to Thomas about it several times. I told him I missed him and felt like we were drifting apart. He'd promised to make more time for us, but nothing ever changed. I started to wonder if he was having an affair, but quickly pushed that thought away. Thomas would never cheat on me, or so I thought. 2 months ago, I found out I was pregnant. Despite our issues, I was thrilled. I've always wanted to be a mom and I hoped a baby would bring Thomas and I closer together again. I planned a special dinner to surprise him with the news. I spent all day cooking his favorite meal, steak with roasted potatoes and asparagus. I even baked a cake and decorated it to say we're pregnant. When Thomas got home that night, I had everything set up, his favorite meal, candles, romantic music playing softly in the background. At first he seemed annoyed, saying he was tired and just wanted to go to bed. But I convinced him to sit down and eat with me. After dinner, I brought out the cake. Thomas looked confused at first, then shocked as he read the message. But instead of being happy, he looked panicked. He started pacing around the room, running his hands through his hair and mumbling to himself. I asked him what was wrong, thinking maybe he was just surprised. That's when Thomas dropped the bombshell. He had been having an affair for the past year and his girlfriend was also pregnant. I felt like the ground had fallen out from under me. Thomas explained that he met this woman, Jessica, 25F, at work. She's an intern at his company. What started as innocent flirting turned into a full-blown affair. And now she was 4 months pregnant with his child. Thomas swore he had been planning to end things with Jessica and recommit to our marriage. He said he realized he had made a huge mistake and wanted to make things right. But now with both of us pregnant, he didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to react. I felt betrayed, angry, and devastated all at once. How could Thomas do this to me? To us? We had built a life together and he threw it all away for some fling with an intern. I asked Thomas for details about the affair. How often did they see each other? Did he love her? He admitted they'd been meeting 2 to 3 times a week, usually during his late nights at the office. He swore he didn't love Jessica, it was just physical. But I don't know if I believe him. To make matters worse, Thomas's parents found out about the situation. Instead of being upset with Thomas, they're pressuring me to forgive him and make it work for the sake of the children. They've always favored Thomas and think he can do no wrong. Thomas's mom called me and actually had the nerve to say I should be flattered that Thomas chose to stay with me instead of leaving for Jessica. As if I should be grateful my husband cheated but decided to stick around. I was furious. My own parents are livid with Thomas. My dad wanted to go over to our house and punch Thomas in the face. I had to talk him down. They think I should leave Thomas immediately and not look back. My friends are split on what I should do. Some think I should try to forgive Thomas for the baby's sake. They say kids need both parents and I shouldn't let one mistake ruin our family. Others say I'd be a fool to stay with a cheater and I deserve better. I'm so torn about what to do. On one hand, I still love Thomas despite everything. We have 8 years of history together. We're about to have a baby. The thought of being a single mom terrifies me. But on the other hand, Thomas betrayed me in the worst way possible. He lied to me for a year and is having a child with another woman. How can I ever trust him again? Every time he's late coming home or on his phone, I'll wonder if he's cheating again. I've been staying with my sister for the past week to clear my head. Thomas keeps calling and texting, begging for another chance. He swears he'll go to counseling, change jobs to get away from Jessica, do whatever it takes to earn back my trust. His parents are also blowing up my phone telling me I need to go home and work things out with Thomas. They say divorce is not an option and I have an obligation to keep our family together. I've stopped answering their calls. Part of me wants to believe Thomas can change. That this was a one-time mistake he truly regrets. But another part of me feels like I'd be a fool to trust him again. Even if he never cheats again, can I really get past this betrayal? Do I want my child growing up with a father I resent? I just don't know what to do. Should I try to forgive Thomas and make our marriage work? Or is this betrayal too big to come back from? The thought of raising my child in a broken home breaks my heart. But the thought of staying with a man I can't trust is also devastating. I'm lost and could really use some outside perspectives on this situation. What would you do in my shoes? Is there any coming back from this kind of betrayal? Or should I cut my losses and start over on my own? Any advice is appreciated. Update 1. Thank you all for your advice and support on my original post. A lot has happened in the past few weeks and I wanted to give you an update. After a lot of thinking, I decided to give Thomas one last chance to explain himself. I agreed to meet him at a neutral location, a coffee shop near our house. I was nervous but determined to get answers. When we met, Thomas seemed genuinely remorseful. He apologized profusely and swore he would do anything to make things right. He said he had already ended things with Jessica and wanted to focus on our marriage and our baby. I was skeptical but willing to hear him out. Then Thomas dropped another bombshell. Jessica wasn't really pregnant. She had lied about the pregnancy to try to trap Thomas into leaving me. When Thomas told her I was pregnant, Jessica admitted her lie and Thomas ended things immediately. I was shocked. Part of me was relieved that Thomas wouldn't have a child with another woman. But another part of me was even more hurt that he had been willing to leave me for a lie. I told Thomas I needed more time to think. I went home feeling conflicted. That's when things took another unexpected turn. The next day, I got a call from an unknown number. It was Jessica. She was upset and begging to talk to me. Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet her. Jessica showed up at the coffee shop looking disheveled. She apologized for the affair and for lying about the pregnancy. But then she told me something that changed everything. She had proof that Thomas had affairs with multiple other women, not just her. Jessica showed me texts, emails, and photos proving Thomas had cheated with at least 3 other women over the past 2 years. There were messages arranging meetups, photos of Thomas with different women, even hotel receipts. I felt sick as I looked through it all. Thomas had been living a double life, and I had no idea. One of the other women Thomas had affairs with was my former best friend, Katie. We had a falling out about a year ago and stopped speaking. Now I know why. She had been sleeping with my husband behind my back. The betrayal cut deep. I confronted Thomas with this new information. At first he tried to deny it, but when I showed him the proof he broke down and admitted everything. He begged me not to leave him, saying he would get therapy and change. I was done. I packed my bags and moved in with my sister permanently. I told Thomas I wanted a divorce and to only contact me through my lawyer from now on. Thomas's parents are furious. They've been calling nonstop telling me I'm overreacting and need to forgive Thomas. They even threatened to fight for custody of the baby when it's born if I go through with the divorce. My own parents are being incredibly supportive and have offered to help me in any way they can. I'm heartbroken but also relieved to finally know the truth. I've started the divorce process and am focusing on taking care of myself and my baby. Thomas keeps trying to contact me but I'm staying strong and sticking to no contact except through lawyers. The past few weeks have been a roller coaster. Some days I feel strong and know I'm making the right choice. Other days I break down crying, mourning the life and family I thought I had. I've told my close friends and family about the situation. Most have been supportive, but a few have questioned if I'm making the right choice. They say Thomas made mistakes but still loves me and deserves another chance. I've had to distance myself from those people. I've also had to deal with rumors and gossip. Word has gotten around about Thomas's affairs and our impending divorce. I've gotten pitying looks at the grocery store and overheard whispers when I'm out. It's been hard, but I'm trying to hold my head high. Work has been a good distraction. I've thrown myself into projects for my marketing agency. My employees have been understanding about my situation and have really stepped up to help. Physically, the pregnancy is going well so far. I'm about 3 months along now. It's bittersweet. I'm excited to be a mom, but sad this isn't the happy family I imagined. I'm trying to stay positive and focus on my baby's health. I've started seeing a therapist to help process everything. She's been great at helping me work through my emotions and start to rebuild my self-esteem. Thomas's betrayal really did a number on my confidence. Looking ahead, I'm nervous but hopeful. The divorce process will likely be messy, especially with Thomas's parents threatening to fight for custody. But I have a good lawyer and am prepared for a battle if needed. I'm taking things one day at a time. Some days are harder than others, but overall I know I'm making the right choice for myself and my baby. Thank you all again for your support. I'll update again when there are new developments. Update 2. Hi everyone. I'm back with another update on my situation. Things have taken yet another unexpected turn. The divorce proceedings have been moving forward. Thomas finally stopped trying to contact me directly and has been going through my lawyer as requested. His parents also backed off after my lawyer sent them a strongly worded letter about harassment. I thought things were finally calming down, but I was wrong. Last week, I got a call from Thomas's mother. She was hysterical and begging me to talk to Thomas. I told her I wasn't interested in reconciling, but she insisted it wasn't about that. She said Thomas was in the hospital and things weren't looking good. Against my better judgment, I agreed to go to the hospital. When I got there, I found out Thomas had been in a serious car accident. He was in a coma and the doctors weren't sure if he would make it. I was in shock. Despite everything Thomas had done, I never wanted him to get hurt. I stayed at the hospital that night, unsure of what else to do. The next morning, Thomas's doctor pulled me aside. He said they had run some tests and discovered something concerning. Thomas had a large brain tumor. The doctor believed the tumor had been affecting Thomas's behavior and decision-making for the past couple years. I didn't know how to process this information. On one hand, it explained Thomas's erratic behavior and poor decisions. On the other hand, it didn't erase the pain he had caused me. Thomas's parents are now pressuring me to call off the divorce. They say Thomas wasn't in his right mind and deserves another chance. My family thinks I should proceed with the divorce regardless of Thomas's condition. I'm torn once again. I still care about Thomas and want him to recover. But I'm not sure I can go back to our marriage even if the tumor explains his behavior. The trust has been broken. For now, I've put the divorce on hold while Thomas recovers. I'm visiting him in the hospital and helping his family where I can. But I've made it clear I'm not committing to reconciliation. Thomas woke up from his coma after a week. He was confused and disoriented at first. When he saw me there, he started crying and apologizing for everything. He said he remembered his affairs, but it felt like watching someone else's actions. The doctors say that's consistent with how the tumor may have affected him. Thomas had surgery to remove the tumor last week. The doctors are optimistic about his prognosis. They say with the tumor gone, Thomas's personality and behavior should return to normal. But they've warned there could be lasting effects on his memory and cognitive function. I'm trying to be supportive of Thomas's recovery while still maintaining boundaries. It's a difficult balance. Part of me wants to believe this tumor explains everything and the man I married is still in there somewhere. But another part of me can't forget the betrayal and pain of the past few years. Thomas's parents are pushing hard for reconciliation. They say this is a miracle second chance for our marriage. They want me to move back home and help care for Thomas as he recovers. I've refused. I'm still staying with my sister for now. My own parents and friends are more cautious. They're sympathetic to Thomas's medical situation but worry I'll get hurt again if I let my guard down. My mom reminded me that even if the tumor affected Thomas's judgment, he still made the choice to cheat multiple times. I'm due to give birth in about 3 months and trying to focus on preparing for the baby. I've been going to birthing classes and setting up the nursery at my sister's place. Thomas has asked to be involved in the pregnancy, but I'm not sure how I feel about that yet. Work has been a good distraction through all of this. My marketing agency landed a big new client last month. I'm grateful to have that to focus on instead of just dwelling on my personal drama all day. I've continued seeing my therapist to help process everything. She's been great at helping me sort through my conflicted feelings about Thomas's diagnosis. She's encouraged me to take things slow and not feel pressured into any big decisions right away. For now, I'm just taking things day by day. I visit Thomas in the hospital a few times a week. We talk, but I've made it clear I'm not making any promises about our future. I'm trying to approach this situation with compassion while still protecting myself emotionally. I still plan to go through with the divorce once Thomas has recovered more. But I'm open to revisiting our co-parenting plan. If Thomas can show he's truly changed, I'd consider more shared custody. But that's a big if. This whole situation is so complicated, and I'm struggling to know what the right thing to do is. Any advice on how to handle this would be greatly appreciated. Thanks for listening. Update 3. Hello again, everyone. It's been a while since my last update, and a lot has changed. I wanted to give you all a final update on my situation. Thomas recovered from his accident and had surgery to remove the brain tumor. His doctors say the surgery was successful and he's expected to make a full recovery. Thomas says he feels like a completely different person now and is horrified by his past behavior. He's been begging for another chance, saying the tumor was responsible for his actions and he wants to prove he can be a good husband and father. His parents are also still pressuring me to reconcile. After a lot of thought, I've decided to proceed with the divorce. While I'm glad Thomas is recovering, I can't forget or forgive the pain he caused me. The trust in our relationship has been irreparably broken. I gave birth to a beautiful baby girl 3 months ago. We named her Dakota. The birth was difficult emotionally. Thomas wanted to be there, but I only allowed my sister in the delivery room. It was hard going through that without my husband, but I knew it was for the best. Thomas has been allowed supervised visits with Dakota. At first, I was hesitant to let him see her at all. But my therapist helped me see that it's important for Dakota to have a relationship with her father, as long as it's safe and healthy. We've set up a visitation schedule where Thomas can see Dakota once a week for a few hours, supervised by my sister or parents. I've made it clear to Thomas that I only want to co-parent with him, nothing more. He's been respectful of my boundaries so far, which I appreciate. He seems genuinely devoted to being a good father to Dakota. I've moved into my own place, a small 2-bedroom apartment closer to my parents. It's been an adjustment living on my own with a newborn, but I'm managing. My family and friends have been incredibly supportive, helping with childcare and bringing meals. My business is doing well, which has been a huge relief financially. I was worried about supporting myself and Dakota on my own, but we're stable for now. I've hired some additional help at work to give me more flexibility as a single mom. I'm slowly starting to date again, though I'm taking things very slowly. I've been on a few casual coffee dates, but nothing serious yet. It's strange being back in the dating world after so long, especially as a single mom. But I'm trying to stay open to the possibility of finding love again someday. Thomas's parents are still upset with me for going through with the divorce. They think I'm being unfair and robbing Dakota of a 2-parent home. I've had to set firm boundaries with them. They're allowed to see Dakota, but only if they respect my decisions and stop pressuring me about Thomas. There have been some challenges co-parenting with Thomas. He often tries to use his visitation time to talk about our relationship or push for reconciliation. I've had to be very firm about keeping things focused on Dakota. We're using a co-parenting app to communicate about schedules and Dakota's needs, which helps keep things more businesslike. Emotionally, I'm doing much better than I was 6 months ago. There are still hard days where I grieve the life I thought I would have. But overall, I'm happier and more at peace with my decision. My therapist has been a huge help in processing everything and rebuilding my self-esteem. Dakota is the light of my life. Being a mom is exhausting but so rewarding. Watching her grow and change every day reminds me that there's still so much good in my life, despite everything that's happened. Looking to the future, I'm cautiously optimistic. I know there will be challenges ahead as a single mom. The divorce proceedings are ongoing and there may be battles over custody and child support. But I feel strong and ready to face whatever comes. It hasn't been easy, but I know I've made the right choice for myself and my daughter. I'm looking forward to the future and excited to see what life has in store for us. I'm focused on being the best mom I can be and building a happy, healthy life for Dakota and myself.